There are truths the mind whispers long before we are ready to hear them. Quiet truths, uncomfortable truths. The kind that stand in the corner of our lives, patient and uninvited. Most people sense them in passing. Those subtle patterns in human behavior that reveal more about us than we want to admit. That we crave what hurts us. That we avoid what heals us. That we repeat what feels familiar, even when it no longer fits. These truths are constant, shaping us in ways we rarely stop to understand. But beneath the noise of routine and survival, something in you already knows. The mind leaves clues everywhere, and ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. This is a journey into the psychological realities we quietly step around, the ones that have been shaping you all along. Before anyone consciously confronts a difficult truth, there is always a moment that comes earlier. A soft, almost invisible shift inside the mind. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is rarely even understood. But it is there. A quiet recognition. A small discomfort. A fleeting awareness that something is slightly off. Even if nothing on the surface has changed. Humans feel the truth long before they accept it. And long before they accept it, they try to outrun it. The first psychological truth we pretend doesn't exist is this: the mind always knows. It notices the patterns you repeat, the emotions you bury, the relationships you cling to even when they drain you. It recognizes the hesitation in your voice, the heaviness in your chest, the subtle ways you avoid certain memories or certain people. The mind records every moment you pretend not to feel. It simply waits for you to stop pretending. People often speak about self-awareness as if it arrives suddenly, like a switch being flipped. But that is rarely how it unfolds. Awareness begins as a whisper. When you learn to mute because listening would require honesty, and honesty would require change. The human mind is structured to protect you first, not enlighten you. So, when a psychological truth threatens to disrupt the familiar, the brain softens its voice. It gives you hints instead of conclusions. It gives you tension instead of clarity. It gives you patterns instead of explanations. You feel it before you understand it. A slight discomfort in conversations you once enjoyed. A restlessness in routines that used to feel safe. A growing distance between the life you live and the life you sense you're meant to inhabit. At first, you dismiss it. You tell yourself you're tired, busy, overthinking. You label discomfort as confusion. You label intuition as anxiety. You label emotional truth as just a phase. This is how most people move through their early encounters with inner truth, not by acknowledging it, but by negotiating with it. You try to convince yourself that nothing is wrong, so you don't have to face what is wrong. And yet, beneath the surface, the mind keeps watching. It notices the shift in your energy when you step into certain spaces. It notices the way you withdraw from people who once felt like home. It notices how your laughter becomes quieter, how your thoughts linger longer, how even silence feels heavier than it used to. The truth waits, and you pretend not to see it. This pretending is not failure, it is human. Most people learn early in life that facing truth means facing consequences, emotional, relational, or internal. So the instinct to turn away is not weakness, It is protection, but protection has a cost. When you ignore what you already sense, you begin living slightly detached from yourself. Your choices become echoes rather than expressions. Your feelings become reactions rather than signals. Your life becomes something you manage rather than something you inhabit. And yet, somewhere deep inside, you continue sensing the truth patiently tapping, waiting, wanting to be acknowledged. Even if you don't have the words for it, you know when something no longer aligns. You know when a connection no longer nourishes you. You know when a part of you is shrinking just to keep a pattern alive. You know when you're betraying your own emotional clarity. The first truth we pretend doesn't exist is the simplest one. You always feel the truth before you face it. The body feels it in tension. The heart feels it in distance. The mind feels it in the quiet shift that happens when reality no longer matches the story you tell yourself. And those early sensations, those flickers of inner knowing, are not random discomforts. They are invitations, not to change immediately, but to notice, to observe, to pause long enough to see that your inner world is trying to speak. Every psychological truth begins this way, as a whisper that tries to guide you long before it tries to confront you. And the moment you stop pretending you can't hear it, the journey into deeper understanding finally begins. Long before a person learns to ignore uncomfortable truths, something deeper shapes that habit. Something older than adulthood, older than reasoning, older even than language. The instinct to look away is not learned in a single moment. It is woven slowly, quietly, through years of subtle emotional conditioning. Humans grow up believing that avoidance is easier than honesty because, at some point, avoidance protected them. In childhood, the mind learns quickly which truths feel safe and which truths feel dangerous. A child notices the shift in a parent's tone, the weight in the room before an argument, the silence after disappointment. Even before understanding what those feelings mean, the body memorizes the tension. It memorizes what not to say, what not to feel, what not to question. By the time we grow older, we are already fluent in emotional detours. We learn to read people before reading ourselves. We learn to adapt before expressing. We learn to stay quiet instead of disrupting the fragile balance around us. This becomes the foundation of our blindness, an early belief that seeing too much, feeling too deeply, or asking the wrong questions might fracture the world we depend on. So we dim our awareness, not out of ignorance, but out of necessity. What begins as protection becomes habit. And what becomes habit eventually feels like truth. This is why adults often overlook the most obvious psychological patterns in their own lives. It is not because they lack intelligence or intuition. It is because their earliest experiences taught them that recognizing certain realities comes with consequences. A child who grew up walking on emotional eggshells becomes an adult who tiptoes around their own inner world. A child who learned that expressing discomfort leads to conflict becomes an adult who convinces themselves nothing is wrong. A child who felt unseen becomes an adult who stops looking inward altogether. These roots are quiet, but firm. They shape the way we respond to truth without us ever noticing. and because they formed in a time when survival, not understanding, was the priority. The strategies remain long after they're needed. The mind continues to shield you, even from truths that could help you grow. This is how psychological blindness takes shape, in the repeated belief that discomfort is dangerous and truth is disruptive. Many people inherit this belief from early interactions with authority, affection, or expectation. A look of disapproval teaches the mind to self-silence. A withheld hug teaches the heart to suppress longing. A harsh tone teaches the nervous system to contract around vulnerability. These moments are small, but the mind treats them as warnings. Over time, it begins to protect you by filtering the world, dimming awareness of anything that resembles past hurt. You no longer recognize certain truths because your mind quietly hides them from you. Believing it is keeping you safe. Society reinforces this instinct. It rewards composure. It celebrates distraction. It praises emotional independence to the point where acknowledging pain feels like failure. People learn to bury their truth beneath productivity, identity, roles, obligations. They learn to say, "I'm fine," so often that the words become a mask even they begin to believe. And yet, beneath all this conditioning, the truth remains. It waits behind the emotional habits inherited from childhood and reinforced by culture. It waits behind the self-protection that once served you but now limits you. Blindness is never really blindness. It is shielding. It is old armor. It is emotional memory disguised as personality. When a person avoids a truth, they are not avoiding the present. They are avoiding a past wound that the present truth threatens to reopen. This realization is not meant to blame the past or glorify the pain. It is simply a reminder that the roots of avoidance were planted long before you had the power to choose differently. And understanding these roots does not force you to change. It simply softens the shame. It reveals that your blindness has always been a form of protection, not failure. Only when you see the origins can you begin to see the truth more clearly. Avoidance is often described as hesitation, denial, or emotional weakness, but psychologically, it is something far more intricate. It is an entire internal system, quiet, automatic, and deeply intelligent, designed to protect you from experiences the mind believes you are not ready to face. At its core, avoidance is the brain's attempt to shield you from threat, even when the threat is no longer real. The mind prioritizes safety over truth, and because psychological truths often carry emotional weight, the brain interprets them as potential danger. The moment something feels too overwhelming, too destabilizing, or too contradictory to the identity you've built, the brain steps in, not with permission, not with clarity, but with silence, with fog, with distraction. The first mechanism behind avoidance is cognitive dissonance. The discomfort of holding two conflicting truths at once. When a belief you've lived with for years is challenged by a new reality, the mind reacts protectively. It minimizes the new truth. It exaggerates the comfort of the familiar. It convinces you that nothing has changed, even when everything has. This is why people stay in relationships long after they've grown numb, or cling to habits that quietly erode them. The brain does not care about fulfillment. It cares about consistency. The second mechanism is emotional suppression. When a feeling is too heavy, grief, shame, longing, anger, the mind pushes it into the background, hiding it behind busyness, entertainment, routine, or numbness. Not because you don't feel it, but because feeling it fully would require facing the truth behind it. Suppressed emotions do not disappear. They simply find new ways to be felt. Through fatigue, irritability, confusion, restlessness, overthinking. The mind redirects the emotion into safer signals, so you don't have to confront the source. Another mechanism is selective attention. Humans unconsciously notice only what aligns with their existing beliefs. Anything that contradicts their inner narrative gets filtered out. If someone believes they are unworthy, they overlook affection. If someone believes they are strong only when silent, they overlook moments where vulnerability is needed. The brain protects identity even when the identity hurts. Then there is confirmation bias. The mind's tendency to search for evidence that supports what it already believes. This makes facing certain truths difficult. If you believe you are fine, you ignore symptoms of burnout. If you believe someone loves you, you rationalize their distance. If you believe you must stay strong, you dismiss your exhaustion. The brain is not searching for truth. It is searching for reassurance. But the most powerful mechanism behind avoidance is emotional familiarity. The mind prefers what it knows, even if what it knows is painful. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar clarity. A person who grew up in chaos may unconsciously avoid calm because it feels suspicious. A person who grew up feeling unseen may avoid affection because it feels overwhelming. The brain labels unfamiliar safety as danger and familiar discomfort as home. That is how deep-rooted avoidance becomes. And yet, psychological mechanisms are not the enemy. They are remnants of old survival strategies. Each mechanism once served a purpose. Cognitive dissonance protected you from shattering. Suppression protected you from emotional flooding. Selective attention protected you from overload. Confirmation bias protected you from constant uncertainty. Familiarity protected you from unpredictability. These mechanisms were not meant to mislead you. They were meant to keep you intact. Avoidance only becomes painful when the protection outlives its usefulness. When the brain continues guarding you from truths that could actually bring clarity, peace, or change. The hardest part is that avoidance feels natural. It feels like instinct, personality, preference. Most people never realize they are avoiding truth because the avoidance feels like them. But beneath every mechanism, a quieter reality remains. The mind is not hiding the truth from you. It is waiting for the moment you are emotionally ready to see it. Avoidance is not blindness. It is timing. It is the mind whispering, "Not yet." And slowly, over years, the "not yet" becomes a "maybe now," and eventually, and "I can finally see."